Hey guys, again, another unfiltered episode coming your way. Actually on a Saturday. I try not to do these anyway on the weekends, but I felt compelled to do this because I just, last night, my wife and I, we actually watched the reunion, the Friends reunion last night that premiered on HBO Max 2 days ago. I think, 2 days ago, whatever. I was looking forward to watching this. This has been hyped up for 2 years. This was to come out actually, be done as early as 2020 and 2019, and then COVID obviously upended that. So last night my wife and I said we'll set that time to watch it in our TV time on Friday nights. We always do our powwow, especially on Fridays. Like it's one of our nights where we have when the kids don't have school the next day, so we can stay up later and enjoy our company, whatever. I mean, so we ended up watching the Friends reunion last night. I had the two TVs downstairs at the NBA playoffs on one TV, and I had the HBO Max, the Friends reunion on the other one. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I had no problem. Well, maybe more details with them quick. I thought the reunion was good. If you like high production and lots of things, yeah, I give it a B. Now, I was not growing up, and I'm 41 years old now. Friends came out when I was 14. So I've obviously known about the show for years, but I never watched it. And to be fair, by the time I was 14 years old, I really didn't watch much television shows at that point. But at that point, like 14, 15, 16, 17, I was a diehard sports fan. So the only TV I did watch was anything sports related. You watch ESPN Sports Center or watch any games on TV, and that includes baseball, basketball, football, didn't matter, even hockey at the time. So I wasn't that kind of TV watcher at the time. I got into Friends actually much later. In fact, I got into Friends years after the show ended. I got into Friends probably in 2009. Which is now 5 years after the show ended, and that's because my wife was a diehard fan. She got to the show late to herself, but she watched the show much sooner than I did. I did watch episodes sporadically, on TV, on syndication, but I was never dedicated. I didn't know the storylines. I obviously knew who the characters were, but I really didn't get into it in the same way. But it was always on something maybe one day I'll watch it. I don't know. But again, I wasn't a big TV show guy. I got back into TV shows pretty much when my wife and I started dating. And, and then I think one day we just decided, you know what? I think we're going to watch the show. And I watched it. I watched the show all 10 seasons in order twice. And I enjoyed the show a lot. It's actually one of my favorite shows. And it does hold up well in some instances in terms of the, relatability and whatnot. In some instances, not all. But the reunion last night, I thought was good. It was good, but... And maybe because I came to this thing also understanding that it won't hold up in the same way that the Fresh Prince reunion did. We had watched that reunion, which was also on HBO Max, a couple weeks ago. And Fresh Prince is a show I watched, like I said, I watched in real time in 1996. And my problem with the reunion with Friends, and by the way, my wife and I did record a podcast on this, I think, right after it last night on our show that we haven't done in a long time. We're going to drop that hopefully in the next couple of days. Our reaction to that. I said there was too much, to use a wrestling term, a pro wrestling term, too much gaga, too much extra. At the end of the day, all I care about is hearing about the stories, the inside baseball of, all the fun stories of that they went through together. There were some people on the show that I wish they had on. Paul Rudd, who's obviously is a huge star now, part of the Marvel franchise, especially as Ant-Man. He was not on the reunion, unfortunately. I saw an article after the show saying, because people were asking questions why he wasn't there, and there were logistical reasons why. I guess he couldn't make it, whatever. To me, the statement that they released about that, it felt very vague, honestly, because they did an hour and 40-something minutes of this reunion, and it was about Hollywood Cup for time. But yeah, a lot of stuff that I honestly could have been just taken away and not been on the reunion, in my opinion. So there's not speculation about why he didn't show up. But yeah, I could have done away with the all the extra stuff. For example, the celebrities come out there, you got Justin Bieber out there doing modeling, some of the cast outfits and stuff. I'm not trying to, run the parade here, man. But to me, I really wanted to hear the true inside baseball and all the stories, about the cast. Like, to me, the best part of the reunion for me was them sitting down talking about, the stories behind all that. Ross and Rachel actually having real crushes together. As we're crushing each other, but they couldn't make, cross that line because they both were in, either one or the other were in relationships at that time and whatnot. Matthew Perry, he's obviously, you see him on the show, like, of the 6 cast members, he looks like the one that's actually lived the most in terms of, he says he's gone through a lot. And you can tell, he looks like the most reserved. My wife said weathered. I like that word. I think Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, and David Schwimmer, who plays Ross, looks almost the same, actually. Obviously, these guys are older. They're all in their 50s now. Some in the late 50s. But, like I said, I could have done with all the extra stuff. There was one segment, too, I think, also, where they're, like, talking about the impact of the show. They go across genders and religions and creeds and different cultures, whatnot, And I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that ran too long, though. Things like that. I enjoyed the Lady Gaga appearance also. She did a Smelly Cat with Lisa Kudrow. That makes sense, actually, because at least Lady Gaga, her being there served a purpose that was kind of cool. And I don't know. That her person didn't bother me as much as everybody else's did. Reese Witherspoon was on the show, was on there too, but that made sense because she was also played Rachel's sister on the show. But I could have done all the extra stuff, all the extra. Like, I want to sit and just compare everything Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because I just watched that a couple weeks ago. But the reason why I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion much more than the Friends reunion is that to me, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion felt more authentic. It felt more closer. It felt more. It was about the stories. It was about the cast, and solely about the cast. Like, you got a little bit of extra stuff about the culture and the impact and stuff, but it made sense. It stuck within the bylines of what the show was, and it stayed within the cast. And to me, honestly, that show had. I'm not trying to sound biased here, but that show had more of an impact on me personally. Especially now. I watch it now as a father. And, Uncle Phil. Like I said again, Will Smith was the star of the show. Uncle Phil was the heart of the show. James Avery. And him not being able to be there for the reunion because he passed away 8 years ago, it hurts. So I'm not trying to shit on the Friends reunion. Because I thought when they got to just the cast members and, and Joey, Matt LeBlanc and Joey and him doing his little, funny little lines, and same with Chandler and whatnot, I thought it was pretty cool. But once they got out of the lines of the cast and whatnot, I got kind of like, okay, that's a bit much now. Like, I'm glad they go back, what's her face? Not who's the girl that plays Chandler's girlfriend early, Janice. I love Janice. She was on there. Gunther was there for 2 minutes. Like, he wasn't even there. He was on the screen. So I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was, but they could have cut the fat on that whole thing, honestly. Like, again, not having Paul Rudd there was kind of problematic for me because he had an impact on that show in the late years. And the excuse they use about it, well, it's an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes of recording, not enough time to fit this in there and whatnot. First off, that reunion could have been 3 hours, and people will still watch it because it's Friends. It's that big a show. It's that big of a phenomenon. So that's a lame excuse, in my opinion, for the writers to say that, or the producers to say that. But overall, it was decent. Like I said, get a B. I left wanting more, but also wanting less, if you will. And, but it is what it is. So anyway, it's on HBO Max. Check it out, get a chance. If you see me on Twitter at eastperson7, and you want to talk about the reunion, if you liked it, didn't like it, feel free to banter me about it, because my wife and I have been talking about it all morning too. So anyway, that's it. And by the way, my wife and I, we did a podcast. We actually recorded a podcast last night, right after it, reacting to the reunion, and we're going to drop it on our podcast feed. That's So Christian. It's on all podcast catchers. I haven't done a show on that feed in quite a while, so that'll be our first show in quite a while. So check it out, get a chance once it drops. So, all right, until the next one. Later.